us stand and let us welcome the star.
I want to welcome you again. Grateful that you're here. I want to share in our time of prayer together some celebrations, some concerns, and so bear with me as I use my bifocals. But this comes from Chia Chapel. Prayer of a celebration and thanks for Family Promise and FCCO. They are celebrating our support of the Family Promise program and the families within that program. For those of you who aren't familiar, that's a program for homeless families who are in the midst of transition, trying to find housing. Celebrating the family who found an apartment this week. And ongoing prayers for families that are in transition to permanent housing. So at the end of each of these, I'll say, God in your mercy, and I invite you to say with us, hear our prayer. So God in your mercy, hear our prayer. This is also, there's a prayer of celebration here from Dawn and Pam Lattimore. Guys here? Yeah, wonderful. First of all, celebration that you're here. Wonderful to see you. But their first grandson, Zach Duzinski, is engaged to Kylie, his longtime high school sweetheart. And they have a 2-year engagement plan to save money for a condo. So for love, for commitments, and for trying to afford a condo anywhere, Lord, in your mercy. And then also just a prayer of celebration from Pam Lattimore herself. Completed 1/3 of your chemo treatment. And we are so grateful that you're here. And we continue to pray for you. And so for Pam, her healing, and our opportunity to be together with you this day in worship. God, in your mercy. Prayer of concern for Carol Roberts. This is a prayer for Jackie Larson. This is her daughter-in-law. Her daughter-in-law's mother is having surgery this week. So we want to remember Jackie Larson and the prayer this week. So for healing, for wisdom in healthcare, and for support and peace of mind. God, in your mercy. This one is also from Carol Roberts. This is from Bob Justice. Thanks very much. Say, my brother Bob passed away the day after Christmas. So sorry for that loss. It was never a good time, but particularly the holidays, I think, are particularly difficult. And so, for loss, for peace, for comfort, and for family, God, in your mercy. This is one from Rachel Parker Stephen. This is a prayer for Thomas Ball. Thomas is facing trials and trying to find work. Please lift him up in prayer. So for Thomas and for all of those who are facing difficult times, difficult transitions, looking for opportunities, God, in your mercy. And one more prayer. This is a prayer of celebration. This is from Callie. This is a prayer for herself. Callie simply offers this prayer of celebration. Thank you all for welcoming me here. Now I know the true meaning of life. So, for finding meaning, for finding community, for finding peace and celebration, even in the midst of difficult days, God, in your mercy. Would you join me in prayer together? Loving God, we do give you thanks for this place. We give you thanks for this opportunity to be in fellowship and in community with one another. We pray your blessing upon this time, upon this unique and creative opportunity to explore what it means to follow and explore what it means to seek in the midst of difficult days. We pray your peace among those of us who are hurting this day, those of us who walk in with a heavy burden, a deep sorrow, an emptiness. We ask that you fill that with your love and with the love of those around us this day. For those of us who are celebrating, God, we want to give you thanks for the opportunity to experience the fullness of life, and whatever that might mean. Regardless of what we bring, God, though, into this place, in this morning, we ask that you remind us that we are welcome, that we are all welcome, and may we be instruments of your peace as we welcome others. We pray these things through Christ, who taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Children are welcome to come forward for a time with.
Come join me. Hello there. How are you? Good. My name is Nancy, and I'm going to talk to you today about stars. When I was 6 years old, I started taking piano lessons. And the thing I loved most about piano lessons is that when I learned a song, you know what my piano teacher would do in my songbook? She would take a bright, shiny star sticker off and put it on the page. So when I was your age, stars meant good job. Have you ever seen a star? Does your teacher or somebody giving you a star for a good job? Yeah. Maybe that will happen to you someday. Yeah. Now there's people called scientists. They like to study everything. And for them, stars are something that teach them. How many of you have ever looked up at the stars at night? Yeah. Pretty cool. Have you ever looked through a telescope at the stars? A few of you have looked through telescopes. They're pretty cool. It makes you see them closer. And do you know what they find out when they study the stars? They find out more about where we came from, how we started. So stars also can teach us. But today, you got into church in a kind of a weird way, didn't you? It was really weird. What did you do when you came to church? Yeah. And then you followed the star in, right? It's like a story from the Bible. So stars are also a sign that God leads us in our lives. So today I actually have brought you something to help you remember this. Some stars you can hang up in your room. Yes, be very careful, put it in a pocket. They glow in the dark, stars. I know the adults are going, I wish I got a star. Right? Right. Cool. Let's have a prayer together. I'm going to say a line and then you say a line. I'll say a line and you say a line, okay? Dear God, thank you so much for giving us a star to follow.
Giving us a star to follow.
Thank you for our church
Thank you for our church.
and what we will see today in worship and wonder.
What we will see today in worship and wonder.
Amen. Thank you. Follow the star. Yes, ma'am. Certainly.
For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel.
When I wake up in the afternoon, which it pleases me to do, don't nobody bring me no bad news. Since I wake up already negative, and I wide up my views, so don't nobody bring me no bad news. No bad news, no bad news, no bad news, no bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. 'Cause I'll make you an offer child you just can't refuse. So don't nobody bring me no bad news. If you're gonna bring me something I can use. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You're gonna bring a message, make sure you don't lose. Nobody bring me no bad news. No bad news. No bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. 'Cause I'll make you an offer child
Herod. We've heard this story so often that Herod seems more like a cliche. But make no mistake about it, Herod was a real dude. We know about him not only from the Bible, but even more from historians of the time. You see, they often call him Herod the Great. Because he was a big builder, roads and aqueducts. He expanded the Temple of Jerusalem and made it bigger and far more dazzling. And he built a fortress hideaway for himself called Masada. But Herod the man was a terrible person. He believed that everyone was out to get him. He hired 2,000 soldiers to be his personal bodyguards and informants. He was a convert to Judaism who did not rule over his fellow Jews with concern or compassion. He was not about nation building. He was about building a legacy to himself. It was all about his comfort, his needs, his power. And he was building this legacy, and woe to any of us if we get in his way.
Then Herod secretly called the wise men to him and learned from them the time that the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying,
Go diligently in search of this child, and when you find him, bring word to me, so that I may worship him.
serve the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, of frankincense, and myrrh.
Gold and frankincense and myrrh. What a strange baby shower. There's not a teddy bear or a crib sheet or a onesie in sight. Now maybe we can be forgiven because Mary and Joseph, to be fair, did not register at Target to tell us what they needed. And truthfully, with all that pomp and ceremony of meeting the king, we're still a bit starstruck. And we figure that in the next audience with a king, we should bring royal gifts, treasure, and fancy perfume. In our joy, we come to offer what we have. Not an inkling about this time to come, when he will become our teacher. When what he will want then is nothing more than our heart, our whole hearts. And that we see his face in the face of every person we meet. Like the refugee down at the border. Or that weird transgender kid at the mall. Or that police officer that's just pulled us over for a speeding ticket. He'll even push us to see his face, a little of him in the face of every Herod we meet. Whatever gift it is that you have brought today, let us look to the star that has led us to this place and let us give with joy. I invite the diaconate now to receive this morning's gifts with love. Let us pray. With grateful hearts, let us give thanks for the faithfulness of a star and trustworthiness of our seeking. May the gifts that we bring honor the power of the light that leads us forward. Amen. You may be seated.
And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road.
How do you receive a warning? In Matthew, it comes in a dream. We could have ignored it and returned to Herod as he asked, but then we would have become complicit in the evil that Herod is to do. This story teaches us that being awake to evil is a spiritual discipline. Evil can lurk in the actions of another human being, and when we see it, we need to steer clear and bring others to safety with us. But I find more often that evil is not out there in someone else. I find it lurks within me, sabotaging my best intentions in my spiritual and emotional life. So often it is at this table, at communion time, that I quit paying attention to all of the distractions and focus so that I can hear that still, small whisper of God that helps me recognize the evil around me, and more importantly, the evil within. We've dethroned Herod, and in its place we have set a table. Soon we'll share of this bounty. So let us prepare ourselves by singing.
Frosty wind may blow,
gathered at this table in a little bit different way. For those of you, and there are some of you for whom this is your first time at FCCO, welcome. You won't get grapes every Sunday, I promise. Today, communion will come all in a basket, and in that you will find some bread, some gluten-free crackers in a cup, and you may choose between which one of those is right for you. And then also take a grape. Today, you get to crush the grape and make the fruit of the vine in your own mouth. And I invite you today, because there's a lot going on in one little basket, that you hold it for the person receiving communion. And then when that person is finished, let you receive the basket, give the basket to them, and let them serve the next person. Really, that's the way we should do it all the time. Not only for convenience, but for always remembering that God calls us to be servants to each other. And that only works if we'll also sometimes let ourselves be served. So today we remember Jesus when he gathered with those he loved. He took bread and he blessed it and he broke it and he gives it to us saying, "Take and eat. For in this bread is a reminder that brokenness never gets to have the last word. For we worship a God that knows resurrection and seeks wholeness in us all." And in the same way also, Jesus took the fruit of the vine and he said, "Drink of it, all of you. And every time you drink it, remember me." So let us offer thanksgiving for this bread and the fruit of the vine.
Would you pray with me, please? Loving God, we give you thanks once again for this place and the opportunity to gather at your table. In a world that is so often eager to follow Herod and to seek expedience and power and privilege, we're reminded at this table that it is welcoming to all people, and it is not for those who have been set apart by the standards that we so often elevate, but by the standards of your love, your generous, all-encompassing, unconditional love for us, just as we are. And so for those of us who on one day or another might not feel worthy or welcome, we're grateful that you welcome us openly. And we pray your blessing upon this time. And we give you thanks for these gifts of God that are for all people and that all are welcome. Through Christ. Amen.
Let us share the gifts of the table of Christ. Amen. know what you've been thinking lately. You're thinking, I wish I could go on a sabbatical. Right? Right? You know how I know? Because I had 2 of them when I was a pastor in Omaha, and people told me so. A sabbatical, a time for introspection, for renewal, a time to just let yourself rest. But one thing I also learned being on the other side of sabbaticals, because I'm feeling a little envious myself as well. Sabbaticals are for us too. For some of us, some of the wild and crazy ones, it's to say, hey, we'll sign up for a Sunday of worship and drive everybody crazy when they come to church. For many of us, it will be, you know, I'll step up and do that thing that we normally expect Dana to always be there to do. But for all of us, if you choose it, if you seek it, this can be a time where you consider again your own call to ministry. Call to ministry? You know, that thing you got the day of your baptism. How you're to be God's hands and feet in this world. How does that call get lived out even more fully now in your life, in this new year? What is a star leading you to find? When she returns, how will Dana find us different? Quick to hear the call of God in our lives. So I invite myself to claim this next 3 months as our sabbatical time. And because I find that music always says it best, I give you a little James Taylor tune.
Those magic men, the Magi, some people call them wise, or oriental, even kings, well, anyway, those guys. They visited with Jesus, they sure enjoyed their stay, but then warned in a dream of King Herod's scheme, they went home by another way. Yes, they went home by another way, home by another way. Maybe me and you can be wise guys too and go home by another way. We can make it another way. Safe home, as they used to say. Keep a weather eye to the chart on high and go home another way.
the year. Give me a light that I might travel safely into the unknown. And that one said to me, go forth into the darkness and hold fast to the hand of God. For that shall be for you better than a lighted path and safer than a known way.